honorable dignitaries, former head of the states of from different regions, ambassadors, young leaders across the globe, Ambassador very dear Shahid Amin Khan, Madam Roshani Batari, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I really appreciate the IHRC whole management for organizing this third World Youth Summit for Peace. And it's indeed the need of an hour to address the issues that the people are facing in regard of peace, the youth are facing, and all the other things. First, I would like to shed light upon the youth, the emergence of youth, the preparation of youth. The academia, the universities, the schools, the colleges play a very key role in making and building the youth, the students, and those professionals who we are seeing in everyday life, who are performing and serving their nation, their different institutions. Specifically, I would talk about the foreign institutions, the embassies, and all the other key role-playing institutions. We are seeing there is an intolerance in the society, among the youth, among the students. So what's the reason behind this? We are just talking about the issues, but we have not talked about the way forward. Academia and industry has a great linkage. And we, the Youth Council, in collaboration with different national and international agencies, are trying for the last 3 to 4 years to bridge that gap which we are seeing and which we are facing between the universities, between the academia and industry. If the industry is not well informed, if the academia is not properly linked to the industry, the nation will suffer, society will suffer. There will be no timely, time-needed progress in that institutions. You can take the example of the developed countries. You also can have a look on the developing countries, that how the developed countries engaged their youth, their students with their industries, their parliament playing a key role in this. They are even by self, the institution by self, taking students from the educational institutions on internship with a great stipend. The student has no fear of poverty, fear of stipend, fear of living hostel costs. And the student has a full focus on his research. Believe me, I can give you the example of the United States. If they feel any mishap, any lacking in any of the institution regarding the agriculture, regarding the State Department, regarding the Finance Department, so they by self engage the youth from different universities. They are the students of the master's and the PhD and the postdoctorate degrees. And even they offer, you can't believe this, they offer internships in the CIA and the State Department. You can search it out if you have any source there. I'm talking about the thing is that university and academia must be interlinked with each other. And indeed, industry must be run upon the academic structure, the academic thing. You can simply take the examples of the United States secretaries. Those all are they are the teachers. They are, I would talk about the Sir Kissinger. He is still he was the professor at the Chicago University. There are many other state secretaries, and there are the other department secretaries. they are the professors. But the developing countries are facing issues. And those issues they're the students, the academia, and the industry has a far distance and a gap. That's the thing that differ us from the developed world. And we are not getting that thing. The universities, the educational institutions are responsible to create a national harmony in every country. But you all can experience this thing that they are not performing their duties. They are even not feel this thing that the students of today will be the professionals, will be the leaders, will be the administrators of the tomorrow of the society, of the state. This is a very important thing. The next thing is, if I talk about the political parties, previous the honorable dignitaries talked about the youth participation in the United Nations. So I would comment on this, that youth participation in the United Nations as ambassador or deputy ambassador is a very far thing in the developing countries. And even this thing also found in the developed countries too. Here in the developing countries, the youth are not properly trained. Even the political parties have no proper strategy for youth to give them proper training, political training, ethical training, intellectual training, so that they will come across that process and they will be experience that training. They just facilitate them just to fulfill their interest in all these. So the thing is that the state must be responsible to bring the youth to the mainstream, to engage, to know about that how many numbers and how many of the percentage of the population of that state is comprised of youth, and how and what's the strategy that state can make to engage, to facilitate, to resolve the issues of those youth, so that they will ultimately focus upon the development of the state. Next, I would very simply would precisely talk about, and I will urge the international key stakeholders who are fortunately here today with us in this summit, and other those who are listening on media, that what about if you people take the initiative to make the youth United Nation? That is, we have already the UN, United Nations. So what if we raise this issue, this case in the United Nations, take some key stakeholders along with us, and the UN itself made this Youth United Nation. This is just a body. The setup is already present, and annually or after 3 months or quarterly, what's the process? They can give time, they can give opportunities to that UN Youth United Nation. And that Youth United Nation will select youth ambassadors, young diplomats during their studies from the different countries, just to practice the diplomacy process, just to practice the international affairs, just to sit and learn the protocols, learn the processes of the United Nations Security Council, the General Assembly, the sideline sessions, and all these. So instead of talking this side and that side, this is the main point I would directly talk about. And I would also specifically talk to Mr. Daniel. Yesterday we were talking, and Dr. Shahid Amin Khan. Daniel is also nowadays in the United Nations as a policy advisor for youth from the Slovakia side. So he can also take out some information about this thing, and he can also put our case in the United Nations in front of the Secretary General. And this is the need of an hour. And this is the key steps that must be taken in order to bring youth into the mainstream as a global citizen, as the citizen, as the member of the international community, and being the international key stakeholder. So this thing was important. I will conclude my speech by just explaining briefly about our mottos. The Youth Council of Pakistan. It has been made in November 2016. Since 16, we have now 5 years, and we all are students. We are working in during our studies, serving our youth, our land, and our 3 key areas. We are working on the youth empowerment, the peace, and climate change. And these 3 things are the most emerging issues in today's era. We are connected in our capacity with different educational institutions regarding the career counseling programs and different other sessions for youth to engage the youth with government authorities, to bridge the gap between the government authorities, the parliamentarians, the politicians, the diplomats, the bureaucrats, the military leadership, and the youth, to connect the youth directly with the authorities in order to get them exposure, as I urged you earlier, to advise the making of the Youth United Nations. So I am contributing my part from Pakistan. And we are also working on peace, conflict resolution. And this is very important. It's not the topic. Should I divert toward the Kashmir conflict? That is so long, but that's not the topic I'm just talking about. And the next is the climate change. Recently, and on 22nd April, we have organized an international conference on Earth Day. The same day, President Biden has also organized the 3 days international summit, have invited more than 40 head of the states. Ambassador Shahid Amin Khan were the guest speaker there. Mr. Daniel were the guest speaker. Other from international community were the guest speakers. So this is a very great initiative of the IHRC and World Youth Summit for Peace. I would like to conclude and thank to all honorable dignitaries for bearing me for so long, and I will thank Ambassador Dr. Shahid Amin Khan for giving the opportunity. Thank you so much, sir, and best wishes for you always. You are always trying to work on peace and human rights alongside uplifting the youth of the developing countries. This is a very great step, and I really appreciate. Thank you so much, Madam Roshani, for waiting so long. I can understand there are a lot of speakers. So thank you so much, and best wishes.
Thank you very much.